What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's edition of the On Purpose podcast in year 7. Can't tell you how humbled we are to be here with you each and every Thursday and to bring stories like that of today's guest, who's rebuilt his entire life from the inside out. He is the creator of Make It Great, a movement built on discipline, clarity, and belief that your future self is worth fighting for. And we can't be more honored to have him on the show and to share his story so that maybe you find value in yours and you start fighting a little harder, maybe a little more deeper, or maybe you're already fighting, you're doing a great job, but there's somebody alongside you that needs that corner man, needs that ally. Maybe you can get something from this story to be that person. So Ian, welcome to the On Purpose podcast movement, my friend. How are you today?
Oh man, thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me be the first one out of the gates in 2026.
Yeah, man, we're ready to go. We're ready to go. We can't slow down now, man. There's too much to do.
That's right.
So I want to start with, I like to get a little warm up. I like to think like we're a fitness podcast. We get the mind going, we get the body going. So you ready for your rapid warm up here? We got a few questions for you, just off the top of your head. What comes to mind, Ian? You ready to go?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. First thing, what is the best one-word description of you?
Game changer.
Ooh, what makes you come with that?
My energy level. I kind of set the tone for myself every morning, and then I've just got lots of compliments of the energy that I bring when I come into a room.
Okay. How do you reset your energy in the morning then, maybe if you're not feeling it?
For me, I've started routines probably about 8 years ago, and I've stacked all these little habits. So I don't look at my phone for the first 30 minutes of the day. When I'm lying in bed, I do gratitude. A couple things, could be 2 things, could be 10 in the day. I get up, go outside. Up here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest in Seattle, it's very cold right now. And outside and do about 3 minutes of deep breath work, some stretching, just to get my mind right, set the tone right for me. And then I grab a cup of coffee and I'm off to the gym, cold plunge, journal. Yeah, I got all these little baby habits that I stacked over time. And they didn't all happen at once, trust me. It took a little while to ramp these up to get to where I'm at today.
Yeah, and I think that's such a valuable lesson for our listeners, right? Is you don't try to do major changes all at once. Start with one thing, build it upon somebody else. And like you said, stacking habits is one of the greatest ways to create a change that now is just part of what you're doing.
Yeah. Well, I was at the gym this morning before this call. And
Nice.
Of course, it's the new year, and everybody and their cousin is at the gym. And you can overhear people, and it's like, hey, I'm here, I'm going to go lose 30 pounds. And it's like, the problem is they have this big goal of 30, which I encourage and support. But it's like, what about this week? How about a half a pound, 1 pound? Because the problem is people see that 30 in their first week or two, they hit 2 pounds. In their mind, they failed and they quit. Instead of like, hey, I'm going to do a half a pound and I did a pound this week, man, I won. You got to keep stacking your baby wins instead of, this realistic goal of 30 is fabulous. But what's it going to take to get there? And just stack all these little baby goals to get to your big goal. Because we tend to quit, be like, they're so disappointed after the first week or two, be like, whatever, I'm going to go have a cheeseburger and a pitcher of beer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's too far off in the future, right? It's just like saying I want to run from here to New York City. Well, that's great, but if you don't take that first step, you won't get anywhere.
For sure.
Right. Ian, what's a favorite quote or a quote you reference throughout your life?
A relatively new one for me, especially after being sober for 8 years, is forgive your younger self, believe in your current self, and create your future self.
Where'd you come up with that, or where'd you find that one?
Man, I read it somewhere. I don't know if it was an Ed Milet deal. I follow a lot of these, Tony Robbins, Ed Milet's, Brendan Burchard's. I don't know, but it just stuck with me. It really, really hit me of like I was carrying so much baggage and cargo ships of just stuff that I just needed to let go. And it's
that's good.
Super freeing.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'll have to hang on to that one. What would be your entrance song in life? If you had a theme song, what would your song be, Ian?
Uh, right now,
By
Van Halen.
Van Halen?
Yeah,
Oh, such a good song, dude. When you hear that, what's it make you want to go do?
it gives me goosebumps right now. It's like living for uh, through my journey of sobriety and selling my company, and like I was so focused on the end, I didn't enjoy the journey. And that song resonates with me of like, let's enjoy the moment right now. Tomorrow's not promised, and enjoy the journey and enjoy the moment. I wasn't enjoying the journey. I was enjoying the focus of this end goal, and just kind of like everything else was a fog, because I wanted to. I saw the light, but I wasn't doing anything to enjoy getting to the light. And when I sold my company in 2016, man, I got so depressed because it was like, it's over. Now what? And there was so much to be grateful for and appreciate along the way. Today, it's all about let's enjoy the moment.
Yeah, that's great. What's a favorite book or a book you find yourself going back to?
Uh, in rehab, the Four Agreements. Um, one of my favorites is Atomic Habits, stacking baby habits, man. It's like I in business and life and goals, with kids, with fitness, like stack baby habits, man. That's one of my top books is Atomic Habits.
That's a fantastic one. All right, one final question, Ian. You get to have dinner with one person. They could have passed or still be with us. Who are you having dinner with, and what do you want to ask them?
Man, that's a phenomenal question.
Thanks, man.
Man, I don't get stumped very often, and I've got to. Who would that be? Man, my parents just passed away. My dad at 95, my mom 2 years ago at 85. And I had a lot of childhood resentment with my parents, from the age of 13, funding them until they passed. I probably have one last cup of coffee, probably with my parents. Let them know I forgive them,
Mm.
and I forgive myself for carrying that resentment. I don't know if I'd have any questions. They were great parents. They made me who I am today. They're the most kind, loving, giving people that didn't have anything. So that would probably be, I don't know if that answers it fully.
Yeah, no, that's a good one. It's a good one. You feeling warmed up, Ian?
I'm ready.
So let's start with the beginning. You've mentioned a couple times your sobriety journey and selling a business. When you look back to your early relationship with alcohol and kind of what put you on that path to reclaim your life, what is there a moment that shaped you or kind of put you on a path that later on you were like, why am I over here?
Yeah, for me, there's a picture of, in my book, me at the age of 1 having a sip of beer with my dad, one of those little circle things that we'd bounce around in beautiful Bellingham. And I grew up with booze. It was very social. It was socially acceptable in my family. My parents had a lot of potlucks. At 13, I was working in a bar, washing dishes, serving beer at the age of 13 in Southern California. So I was constantly around booze, and I thought it was in business when I college in San Diego. Man, I thought booze was my superpower. If I could get people out to bars and clubs, strip clubs, man, I was closing business and making friends, and I already have big energy, and I, my energy was just louder and more vulgar with booze. So that's I learned from my parents to drink. Obviously, I caught that, and a big pivotal change for that. It was 34 years of just drunken debauchery for me, building a business and kids and two failed marriages. And I went to rehab in 2017. And the third day in rehab, the good Lord touched me on the shoulder. Something happened that I looked in the mirror and be like, it's on you. If I'm not right, nothing will be right. And I went into rehab to save my marriage, save my business, be a better dad, be a better business owner, be a better friend. I was doing it for everybody else because I was such a people pleaser drinking that, man, I had to look in the mirror and be like, unless you're right, there ain't anything going to be right. So get your shit together and everything else will kind of fall into place. And that just kind of like really, really hit me, or if you want to call it a rock bottom or a big pivotal moment, that was it for me. Like life changed drastically after that.
What was it that was going on internally that led you to that decision? But maybe all the people having fun with you and being around you didn't even realize you were fighting.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't real well. I'm 53 today, and I see this great NET therapist in Scottsdale, and I got a life coach, and I didn't realize how much trauma or self-induced and suppressing feelings at 53 that I'm dealing with from the age of 5, 13, 20, that I just kept pushing around, especially us males, right? Because we don't like to communicate a whole lot of anything about feelings. So I didn't realize I was numbing all these feelings and emotions and sadness and happiness. And the more people I could have around, I could have a party going in a text in 10 minutes. I could have 26 people at my house having a full blown raging party for some stupid reason because there was, college swimming on. so, and then I just always had these people, and it was like, if I was alone, I never drank alone. I was always a very social drinker at a bar with people. I wasn't one of those closet drinkers. Um, so I always had people around, so I never had to feel feelings. And then I didn't realize I was numbing them. Of like, ooh, why do I feel sad? Let's just drink through it and have people over. I'll be fine. So I never addressed those till really 7 years ago.
Wow. What was that? What was that moment like when that clarity came to you that like, wait a second, I got to work on some of this if I'm going to create a future. I got to kind of handle my past a little bit.
Yeah, and booze was, you know, I would, kicking any habit's tough. The real tough part for me was dealing with all those emotions, like you just asked. Is like, man, it's just the floodgates of feelings and emotions and resentment and anger, sadness, happiness. I was like, whoa, how do I manage through all these? And for me, I had a really, really good core group of friends. My circle went really big drinking to very intimate and small. And those people were huge in helping me manage through that. I could laugh with them, cry with them, talk about my feelings, and not be judged. I got a life coach, Angie, out of Florida, who's phenomenal. I talk to her every Wednesday. Uh, uh, at 5:30 in the morning, and she just helps me stay focused and on plan and relationships and business and kids. And like, you have to have people to communicate with, whether it's a family member, whether it's a significant other, whether it's a third party person, that whatever. I think people really, back when I was growing up in the 70s, 80s, like if you saw a counselor, like, what's wrong with you, bro? There's something wrong. You're going to go see one of those crazy psychiatrists? Well, I think everybody should go see somebody because it is so mentally healthy. I mean, we work on our bodies physically, we eat good, we try to do all these right things, but what are we doing for our mind? What are we doing to set the tone for our brain? Like these crazy 60,000 thoughts we have going around in our brain. What are we doing to manage all these things? Um, and my circle and a life coach helped me tremendously manage through those. And I can go talk about them. Like I'm super, it's one of the reasons I wrote the book is like, to let it all out there. Like there is nothing that's not unsaid about all my debaucheries and rude shit I would say and like bad decisions I've made. Like it's all out there and it's freeing to get all that out. Um,
You brought something up that I want to expand upon if we can, and that is how did you allow yourself to let go of the people that didn't naturally migrate to the smaller circle that were going to support you without drinking? Right? Because sometimes I think we struggle. We want to hold on to all the people that were there from the habit we're trying to release, and we try to drag them with us or we migrate back to them. So talk me through that, allowing yourself to let that circle shrink, if you will. And what did you replace it with? Because now you're going to have less people to be around, so you have more idle time.
yep. Great question. The biggest thing for me um, was allowing myself. Um, I had to outgrow relationships. Like some relationships have seasons, and that was just a season for me. That um, are they great people? Yeah, some of those people that I saw almost every day partying and at my house and bars and happy hours I'd invite them to. They're awesome people. Love them to death. Um, some I haven't seen in years. Some I see once a year. One of my good friends that was in my circle, ride or die, drink, party. Um, Once I got sober and started addressing my feelings and emotions, I just kind of outgrew those relationships. I talk about it a lot with people that are, trying to kick some addiction. And I always tell them, man, look at your circle. I got some of my son's friends that like, I want to quit. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. And their problem is their circle. Their circle
Hmm.
drinks, smokes weeds, plays video games, rinse and repeat, do the same thing on a Saturday at the golf course and smoke some weed and then go drink some more. Is like, they're in that same circle. And I'm like, bro, it's going to be really uncomfortable. You got to get out of that circle, and it's going to be you're wanting to outgrow this relationship. You got to go find a new circle, because it's like that old saying of like, show me your five friends, I'll show you your future, right?
Hmm.
Um, that is so true. Like if you're hanging out with four smokers and you're the fifth one, chances are really, really, really good you're going to be the fifth smoker. Drinking, drugs, porn, whatever that is, whatever that circle's vibe is, it's going to be. But are you in a circle of health, wellness, fitness, mindset? Go get in those circles, because you're going to be the fifth or sixth one, right? So um, for me, I just realized that I'm outgrowing these relationships. My trajectory shifted, not drastically because I stacked all my baby habits. It just, like, it wasn't an environment I enjoyed being in anymore. I didn't want to be in that circle. I can go sit in a bar and I can go hang out with those peeps, but it's like they're still living in their high school days of like, oh my gosh, you remember Jimmy back in Friday nights, man, when you threw that 70-yard touchdown? Bro, that's 30 years ago. Like, what are you doing now to go be better for your business, your kids, your friends? And it's like, I just don't want to be around that. I'm looking to be better every single day. So I put myself in circles uh, that provide that.
Yeah, and what let's talk about, because I know you kind of you paralleled, the quitting drinking and getting sober there, also with a fitness journey, right? Because they kind of go hand in hand. So talk to us about like what did that do for you? Like not just saying, okay, I'm done here, but I'm also going to change myself here, because off the top of my head, I would say that taking on that physical challenge occupied a lot of the time that would have been idle had you not done it.
Oh man, I bought back so much time not drinking. Like years. I've spent years in bars, and uh, I just recently did about over $1 million in
Oh,
booze. $1 million and years in bars. My happy hours would start at, lunch with the client at noon, and then it would turn into martinis. Be like, hey, let's call some people and we'll go do happy hour at 4. Of like how many wasted days, years, months. So again, I bought back so much time by not just sitting in a bar. So I did replace it. For me, was fitness and walking and going to the gym and getting that dopamine hit that I was getting from booze. I just replaced it in the gym. Whatever it case may be for people, it could be golfing, it could be pickleball, it could be basketball. Go go learn something new, right? A lot of people I talk to, it's they've got into instruments. They play the guitar, they play the piano, and they just have so much more time than sitting in a bar. And for me, I could sit in a bar sometimes 8, 10 hours a day. Like there was one time
wow.
I had it was uh the Masters was on, and it was like Sunday, and I'm sitting in a bar with the buddies, like, hey, let's see, and it was on early, so I was sitting at a bar in Kirkland. That we got there at 8 in the morning and starting drinking Bloody Marys, breakfast, then lunch, and we're betting $2. Hey, is I got to make the putt? Not going to make the putt. And at 10 o'clock, my wife came and picked me up. PM. Like I wasted a whole day completely drunk out of my eyeballs. It was like I just have numerous stories of that, and it's like, man, what a way! And then take the next day is a complete wasted day when you're hungover, you're bloated, and you're fat, and you're bitchy. Like, it's how many stacked wasted days did I have, man? It's insane how much time I bought.
So what was the first part of the physical journey? So you're working on your mental stuff, you go through rehab, and you're feeling good. The first step in the physical journey where you're like, okay, this is going to take some work, and I'm going to have to get through this being sore after day one to do day two. What was that battle like?
It was, uh, it's just such a mindset of like, I would go sometimes, go to the gym, and I get in my car and drive. Thank goodness it's close, 10, 12 minutes. And sometimes I'd be like, I really just don't want to do this. And I'd go on the treadmill for 20 minutes, grab a coffee, come home. But every day I went. And the next day I could have gone for an hour and 15 and had a great arm and chest workout and feel like $1,000,000. Um, and today, still I'll go to the gym and be like, man, I'm just not feeling it, but I'm gonna do something. So I just got in the mindset of I'm going to go, then not go. And sometimes it's, hey, I was on the treadmill for 20 minutes and I was scrolling through social media, but I went. So I go every day. Some days are a lot better than others, but it's just the mindset of I'm going to go do this. Whether it's cold outside, it's sunny outside, try to do something every day. And then it's literally just becomes for me a up, boom, 5:15, gratitude, outside, breath work. Like it's just clockwork today. But it's taken time to learn those habits. But it is very mindful of like just go, just go. And if you have an accountability partner or somebody to work out with or go on a walk with, is huge. Also, it's a lot tougher on your own for sure. But if you can have an accountability partner or go get a coach that say Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, we're going to go work out and you got to be here at 9. I know a lot of people like that because it holds them accountable.
Did you hire a personal trainer when you first started, or were you able to
Nope.
do it on your own?
I could do it on my own. Yep. I pretty much had a really good discipline to like I had such a mindset coming out of like I'm going to be better every single day and I'm going to go set the tone for me, which is in going to set the tone for what's going to happen for the day. So I never had a fitness coach.
How was you mentioned your kids a couple times. What was their response to you as you started down this journey?
Yeah, I had pretty emotional. I had my kids actually write stories in the book about their drinking dad. So I got 3 kids: an older son, 30, daughter, 28, and a 15-year-old daughter. And they, they didn't know what kind of dad they were going to get. Were they going to get happy dad, sad dad? Is there 20 people coming to the house and we're going to have another barbecue on a Thursday while we're going to school? Yeah, it was my kids today. And again, I talked earlier, is like my kids, I, they caught more than I taught them, right? I definitely, they, everybody, right? People watch and they learn. Today, my kids are super proud. I've lost 80 pounds. Um, Trying to just go get out a positive message of be better every day, make an impact on somebody every single day. And yeah, they are super proud of the journey that I'm on today for sure.
What do you think that's allowed them to do?
I think it's definitely, my son was probably the forefront of uh, me being the instigator, like, hey, invite all the high school over and college, and we're going to do fireball shots. And I was just always the pusher. I was the instigator. I was always taking it to the next level. So I've definitely, my son drinks today, a couple beers here and there. Nothing like when I was the pusher. My youngest daughter, 15, I don't think she'll drink. My middle daughter, she does not drink because she was probably the biggest one I impacted. She would be the one that would be on 11:30, 12 o'clock on a Wednesday school night, texting me as I'm partying with her older brother's friends. Could you turn the music down? I'm trying to study. So it really impacted her. So I think he's like, I've seen that shit show damage. Like, that ain't going to be me.
Yeah.
So he doesn't drink today. At
So let me ask this. How did you how did you work through forgiving yourself that you didn't have to hold on to that part of you to get to this part of you?
Yeah, that's a lot of therapy. That's thousands of dollars of therapy. And I never went through like the AA. I guess AA is a lot of like go ask people for forgiveness. And I had to sit in my own dirty diaper and forgive myself for like, man, you were rude, you were a prick, you said you thought you were being funny, you were vulgar. A lot of that is just sitting with your own feelings and forgiving yourself and not looking in the rearview mirror. Can't dread on the past. And you know, we can take ourselves down a rabbit hole focusing on our past the whole time. But hopefully you've learned from the past and you're moving forward and looking forward to be a better person every day. And um, so I would just always say, it's part of my gratitude. Like I forgive my younger self. And a lot of therapies, like where was your trauma? Everybody has some sort of trauma somewhere in their life, no matter what their upbringing. Super poor, super rich. There's always some sort of something going on in there, and it's identifying where it's at. So like my NET therapy is like a lot of my trauma was like at 5 and 12 when I left Bellingham. Forgive my parents for the decisions of like why'd my older brothers stay back and I had to go. I became the youngest brother to then becoming the only child in Southern California. So there was a lot of stuff that's like, man, I learned from that, and it's all what you want to look at. If you look for that negative, you will absolutely find it. If you look for the positive in your upbringing, you will absolutely find it. So which one are you going to focus on? And it's just changing the mindset. And again, it goes back to like having the ability to talk to somebody and be like, okay, hey, that was all your bad baggage. What good came out of that? And just help somebody change their mindset of like, what's good? A lot of times there's this victim of like, oh, this happened to me. Well, did it? What's it teaching you? It's all how you kind of change your mindset of like how you start looking at life and yourself and your business and your kids and whatever you're doing is go look for the good in it. You will find it.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. What you look for, you're gonna find. There's no doubt about it. What surprised you about who you were becoming?
The silent impact I had on people that I didn't even realize, the influence that I had just with my energy, my vibe, my network of people. More people have been, my party group now is like this sober, clean living, longevity vision. Uh, People coming out of the woodwork on social media or comment on the book of like, hey man, you made such an impact on you made me quit drinking. You made me become, I read your book and I'm a better dad because of it. How many people I silently impacted was shocking to me.
Man, it's such a big topic right there, that silent impact, because it goes both ways, right? Because you were silently impacting people negatively beforehand, you didn't even know it,
For sure.
right?
Yeah.
And I always challenge people that I get to work with. If you knew everybody was watching your next decision, would you still make that decision you're thinking of making, or would you do something different?
Right.
Right?
Yeah,
But
that's
sometimes
powerful.
we don't know people are watching, or we forget and we make a decision. We're like, wait a second, if my wife was watching, if my kids were watching, I would have taken more time and done it differently.
Right. Yeah, you just sit back for a hot second and ask yourself that. And it's seconds could is a game changer.
Yeah. So let's talk about make it great. Your
Make it
work with
yep.
Yeah, go ahead and let's kick off that part of the conversation.
Make it great actually started in rehab. There's a smokers table, and I wasn't a smoker, but I was just hanging out with everybody. And just the vibe and energy that I brought off in the center with 20, 30 people there, and I'd bring in pizza and I'd buy coffees for people, and I was doing the same thing that I would be doing in my drinking days, just in a sober environment, and just genuinely interested in people. one of the gals like, man, you just make people feel great when you're around. When you walk into the room, when you walk out here, man, that it changes.
Mm.
Uh, and then somebody's like, yeah, uh, we should do something to where, we could all make an impact on people and just make them feel great. And that's where it started. And then there was a artist dude there, and he like etched in the wood table like what the logo is, which is the Olympic Mountains. So some of it started make it great before we got out of rehab. Now it fizzled quickly as everybody entered into their real lives again. But I wanted to keep it going, and I kind of had my kids take it over in college and high school, and just being out there no matter where you're at. We did some speaking gigs at high schools and colleges just to make people feel great and look for the good uh, in no matter what it is. So that's kind of where it started. And it's a platform or mantra that I just kind of live and breathe by every day is like, go pay it forward. If you're having a coffee, say good morning, hold the door for somebody. It's just the smallest things in the world to make an impact because we're so bombarded with just negative crap all day. Social media, the news, of like just go smile and say good morning to people is a game changer. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, let it go. I mean, they flip you the bird and make it your fault. You don't know what's going on in their world. You know, take a breath and relax. It's okay. Um, so it's just spreading that mantra.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And did that lead you to the book idea? Did that kind of follow up from that?
It did. The book came from a couple guys I work with who I went on a sober journey and they followed shortly after. And we would go to Irvine for these company meetings in our drinking days. And we'd all go to the same restaurant and martini it up and have a ball and then go back to these meetings. Well, we're down there for these meetings. All three of us are sober, sitting at our same table, and we look across and there's three dudes having their martini lunches, and we'd be like, man, that used to be us. Can you believe that? And then we started just sharing some stories, and one of the guys like, we should write a book. So the book actually started with three of us. And it got real personal, real naked, real stuff coming out. And they didn't want some of those stories out there or comfortable. So I kind of took it and ran with it and took it to completion. Now, some of their stories are in there, no names, as a tribute to them for sure, because they're still, in my closest circle. But it definitely was part of Make It Great to go make an impact on somebody. If somebody could be a better dad, a better business owner, a better friend, and it touches people all over. It's some people reach out to me of like, hey, your forgiveness that you talk about with your parents, like really hit me that like I didn't even realize that I was carrying some resentment with my siblings or my parents. So it touches everybody a little unique. It's not just all about sobriety. It's a life journey and that you can change and find your purpose.
So talk me through the process of coming to grips with, okay, I'm gonna write this and I'm gonna be honest and real about it. And when I send it out there, like it's out there forever.
Yeah, it's quite freeing actually. Um, because it's all out. It's brutally honest. Like I've read a lot of books. I'm sure a lot of people have, and it's like, uh, this is like it's all out there. It talks about strip clubs. It talks about kids. My kids writing the letters in there about their drunk oblivion dad. Me sitting in a hot tub in Las Vegas and getting ready to go speak in 7 minutes, and I'm still in the hot tub ordering another round of a bucket of beers. Like it's all out there, and then the feelings and the emotions in crying. It's okay to cry as a guy. Society doesn't think that's acceptable. Um, it was freeing for sure to let people know that it's okay. It's okay to be truthful with yourself. We tend to make decisions for a lot of other people, and you really got to look in the mirror and be like, it's on me.
What was the hardest part to getting the book started or the biggest thing you had to overcome?
It was a really fun process actually. I got a ghostwriter to help me because if I would have wrote it, it would have been 6 pages and it would be like a caveman writing it. So I had a ghostwriter, as you could probably tell from some of my emails that you got. I got a really good ghostwriter. It took about 17 months, spent hundreds of hours with him, and he's met my family and just my story from beginning to end, and met all my closest circle. So it was really like a fun journey, and he did a fabulous job. It's not chapter driven, so you could pick it up and open in the middle. It'll take maybe an hour to read, but it's very touching, funny. A lot of it's just real life that with no filters on it. I never had filters when I was drinking, so I was like, I'm not gonna have a filter on a book. And there's pictures which really help just kind of bring it together of, me being 80 pounds heavier, to me drinking at age 1, that people can resonate with and be like, oh yeah, I remember, grandma used to rub whiskey on my gums when we were teething, right? It's all that was acceptable. We're bouncing around in the back of an old Buick with no car seats and the windows rolled up, and the parents are smoking with two open containers in the front, driving to our friend Betty's 4 miles away for a potluck. Like, people can relate to that.
Yeah. Yeah. What's one question, Ian, that you wished more people asked you about your journey?
What question they would ask me about my journey? The feelings. People have a tough time with feelings and dealing with thoughts. Share your thoughts and feelings. Like, how did you feel? Growing up as a kid, my brothers and I talked about it. It's like, did mom ever ask you how you feel? Like, genuinely, how do you feel? Because we grew up, everything's okay, everything's great, everything's
Yeah.
fine. Don't talk about that. Feelings, man. It's couples counseling. I mean, what do we talk about? Communication and feelings is like the number one thing that in couples counseling or any counseling is like, express your feelings, feel them. If it's mad, sad, angry, get it out, because all we do is suppress it, and then it just becomes a stressor, and then it just builds and builds. And inside, we don't realize inside our bodies, we talk about stacking baby habits and goals. We're stacking all that negative crap, and it's just, eventually it's going to erupt. Or you find a way to numb it, whatever that may be. So feelings would be the biggest thing for sure that I wish people would talk about.
Yeah, that's interesting, right? Because you're right, we're the same generation. And when you're talking about we don't talk about that, everything's good. Like I'm just like that's literally how I lived the majority of my life as well, right? And you get to a point, and hopefully it's not a traumatic point. Hopefully it's not a rock bottom where you're like, wait a second, I don't have to be good all the time, but I got to have people around me that recognize that. Because if our circle is like you and I, we're always good, then that's all I'm going to think I'm allowed to be.
Yeah. It's like, when you ask somebody, hey, how you doing today? What's the answer? Good. We're
Right?
programmed. We're programming our brains and our subconscious that we're always good. But are you?
Yeah.
Let it out. I'm not doing great today, man. I just had a bad morning. I stepped on my cat. Kids were crying. Whatever. Express those feelings. Get them out is so refreshing. And that's where journaling, I think, helps a lot of people. For me, I thought 95-year-old ladies journal. I journal. It could be two sentences. It could be a page a day, and it's so refreshing just to get it out. It's when we were in school, and like when we had to go into timeouts, or they put us, with the dunce hat on and be like, I will not yell at Jimmy again. I am sorry. I will not. And you had to write it 100 times. I don't know if you remember that or not, but I had to do that in my
Yeah.
school. It's like we were doing that, but then we don't do that. Be like, journaling's very similar to that. Like, if you write, I forgive myself. I am worthy. I am loved. I am. Start programming. You're the star of the show. Everybody is the star of the show, and people forget that. And treat yourself like that. That you are worthy. You are great. You are amazing. You are doing great things. We just don't hear it enough.
We don't practice it. One of the things that would challenge our community is, yeah, I love focusing on us. But then when we're around somebody, I say, Ian, how you doing today? And you usually have high energy and you're fantastic and the workout was great. And you say, good, or I'm living the dream. Stop for a second and pause. That's your invitation to ask another question. right? Because I don't know that I've ever met anybody that said they were living the dream that was actually happy with what was taking place at that moment.
Yeah, 1000%.
But we don't know if we don't take a moment to ask, wait a second, what's going on? Let's grab a cup of coffee, Ian. Tell me what's going on today.
Yeah,
Right?
or it's the fear. They don't be like, ooh, must be having a bad day. I'm not going to be his friend today because, and again, that's where it's like your closest circle, or they just like, ooh, I don't need to deal with Ian's drama today. Hope you have a better day, right? So it's like you really identify who your closest circle is by those situations.
Who would you want? Who would you want in your circle? You want that person that takes the extra moment, that pays attention to go, hey, Jimmy or Ian, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday. Well, you don't look like you're celebrating. What's going on your birthday?
Yeah. Yeah, you want the person to ask that next question is a great telltale sign of like, man, they genuinely are wanting to help you.
They're paying attention.
Mm-hmm. They're paying attention.
Yeah, and that's the challenge I put out to our communities. Be the person that pays attention. It's going to cost you nothing extra. It costs zero to actually listen and be interested in making sure they're doing well.
And most people, and I've talked about this a lot in my counseling, is are you coaching or are you consoling? And most people just want to be consoled and just listen, right? It's like your gal comes home and be like, hey, how was your day? Oh, it was horrible. Traffic was bad. Whatever. I stabbed somebody wrong. Whatever. Um, and they have a bad day. Right? Well, do this, this, and this, and this, and you won't have a bad day. That's not what they want to hear. All they want is it to get off their chest and be like, I'm sorry you had a bad day. So are consoling or coaching, which is a tough one for me because I like to coach and I'm a fixer. And so that's been a big challenge for me is just learn to listen.
I think that's the ticket, right? Just say, hey, I'm just going to listen. I'm not even going to say a word.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if we reflect back, at least for me, and I'd say for a lot of people, the best conversations that we've had or that we have are the ones where we listen more than we speak because we're learning something.
1000%. Yep.
Right? Because if I'm telling you something, Ian, I already know what I'm telling you. I'm not going to grow at all from telling you what I already know, but I'll grow from hearing your perspective. And in a world where our strongest leaders can't sit in a room and grow with each other, when conflict is like everything's got to be a conflict, be the person that wants to listen. I think we'd be amazed at the path we go on when we just take that time.
Yep. Just console and listen.
Yeah. Ian, if you could talk to your version of you that was still hiding behind alcohol today, Ian, what would you tell that person?
It's so much, you're such a better person on the other side. It's kind of like, whatever your religion belief is, it's like whenever your time is done and there's a version of you that was like the best version of you and it's your last breath. And were you that best version of you or were you the opposite of it? So are you trying to be the best version of yourself? Because it is way better on the other side. I wish I had more red flags or something happened earlier. Uh, you know, I have, my company could have been 10x what I sold it for if I wasn't just in this drunk 34 fog. Um, so it's like, it is better on the other side. Everything's better. Clarity's better. Time's better. Money's better. It's like, I wish I had somebody have me this checklist to be like, hey, bro, you drunk idiot. I know you're hungover today, but you could be this. Uh, yep.
Yeah.
It's like you're going to save 4 years of your life. You're going to have $1 million in the bank account if you do this, and this. It would have been a game changer for me, but that just didn't happen. And everything happens for a reason at the right time. And but yeah, if I could tell somebody is like, man, it is so much better on the other side. Everything's better. Everything. There is not one good thing that came out of alcohol for me. Nothing. Not
Yeah.
one thing. And it's been everything. Everything's, my relationships are better. My kids are better. My business is better. My health is better. Like the whole, that's just the checklist is way better.
No, that's good. Yeah. And you referenced Ed Milet earlier. I think it's him that I heard this from, and that is true hell is when you arrive at the end of your life and you see who you could have become and you don't recognize that person. Right. And I butchered it. I mean, it's close to that. But yeah,
It's very,
that's
he's one of my favorite to follow. It's like, that's why I use that analogy is like, hey, the good Lord had you at this person, you're upstanding and you're great for your kids. And then this is who you are today. That's who you could have been. I want to go, same deal. I want to be like, thank you, fellow servant, that you are the man that I wanted you to be.
yeah,
Whatever.
no, that's powerful. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
powerful, Ian. Where can our community follow you, buy the book, support you on your journey, and thank you for what you're doing?
Yeah. Thank you as well. You can find the book, Wild Ride to Sobriety, on Amazon. You can Google my name, Ian Fee. All my social medias are just my name, Ian Fee. You can go to the website. It's ianfee.com. But yeah, my social's great. It's all uplifting, positive, because there's so much negative in the world that if you follow my social, it'll put a little chuckle on your your face of inspiration for the day for sure. And keep doing what
Awesome.
you're doing, man. You're making a big impact on people, and you're silently impacting people you don't even know it. So keep it up, man. I appreciate you having.
Ah, dude, it's my honor to have you. It's fantastic to hear your story and to be able to share it. And if all our community got anything from this episode, you got anything from the conversation with Ian and I, be sure to like, subscribe, follow on Ian's platforms, follow on ours, because it might be something simple as just sharing reaches a person that the two of us wouldn't have reached without you, that changes the trajectory of their life or their day or their moment. And that's what we're all here for, is just like you said, Ian. I don't know who's going to listen to this, but it's going to make a difference for somebody. And that's why we do what we do.
That's right.
So thank you so much, Ian. Have a blessed day, my friend. Keep up your journey. I'm excited to see where you go. And maybe next time you're in Arizona, our paths will cross. We can get on a run or something together.
I would love it, and I appreciate you having me. Have a killer week.
Thank you, my friend.